All right, welcome back to the game in this best of 3. This is game number 2 for the DreamHack Open 2014. Of course, I'm Rifkin. We'll be casting all night with Zombie Grub, and hope you guys have been enjoying it. Not quite done yet, but spawning here in the top left corner of the map from Fnatic. He's leading the series 1-0 at the moment. It is Harstem.
In the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, it is Alliance Sortof.
Okay, so I think Sortof, despite losing, played a really strong game. I think if he had never lost that third and made the exact same moves, the same thought processes, and the same army composition, I think he could have taken that first game.
Oh.
This is where you're like, I agree, I disagree.
He got everything that he needed, you know, like scouting-wise. As we saw with some other Zerg players, it was literally just scouting. They didn't know it was coming, but he knew it was coming. I mean, he saw the gateways. He saw enough gateways to know that it was going to be an all-in, and it was just a split-second decision that, you know, oh, I don't have enough stuff. You know, maybe I went to Hydras too early, and they were too expensive, because he was only on like 49 drones rather than like the 60, which is like the perfect amount that you want.
Right, but that kind of comes down to having lost that third, right? Like, why would you make 60 drones if you're stuck on 2 bases?
Before, like when he was on 3 bases. And it was macro before
the
attack. He was only at 49, you know, and opening up with the speedling does, you know, cut your economy more than if you went for the fast 3 hashes, of course. So, you know, maybe that was the case, but it was a split-second decision by him to go ahead and maybe sack that third.
Oh, Harstem, you cheeky guy.
Yep. This it happens before the Overlord can even see that the forge is down, too.
Just backing up for a second, how do you remember that's 49? Like, how do you remember that from like 10 seconds ago? I can't remember what I just said, like, in my last sentence.
Dude, I can't remember what I just typed on Skype. I don't know how I remember 49.
We're done at this point. Stick a fork in us. Alright, so this cannon's gonna be really annoying. Sort of can still cancel the base, though. I mean, the cannons are gonna complete. 2 pylons have already been dedicated to this. This alone is almost worth it for him to just cancel and move on. The problem is, though, if he does cancel and move on, there's a threat of cannons still coming elsewhere. The pool was late because of the hatchery goal, so it's not like he's going to have lings to chase this probe down anytime soon. Oh,
that's gotta be it. Okay.
Nice.
With one, if the pilot, well, the pilot's actually not blocking it anymore. You know, we've seen people try to go ahead and save it if they thought that only 1 cannon was there, and then the pro player went back in and put down 2 more cannons. That was pretty BM.
Who was it? Was it Copa we cast? Or was that? I can't remember.
That was Copa. That was Huck versus someone.
Yeah. That was actually pretty funny. But wait, no, that's the one he lost though, wasn't it? The Banelings? Or am I thinking?
No, that was a different one. That was on Habitation. Or
right.
On
Overgrowth. Yeah. Those sorts of looking maps.
Yeah.
This is a very interesting place for him to put this other hatchery though. A lot of the times you'll see them skip over to the 4th, like the regular 4th, but not the middle of the map.
Yeah, reason being is that technically Zergs never want to go towards their opponent, and that's as towards your opponent as you can go.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, in fact, we never even see that. That's usually like their 5th, really.
Well, he gets the probe, so that nuisance is taken care of for the time being. Queen, I think, cannot reach the cannon from the right and the left, but boy, is that going to take for freaking ever. I know he's going to move more to the right. I'm back home for Harstem though. Nexus is finished up. He's got the wall going down. There's that really awkward spot over here next to the geyser that's frustrating to deal with, but he's pretty much set as far as like counterattack potential, and there's really not going to be. Sortof's just droning behind this, and rightfully so. When you've got 3 hatcheries, abuse it. Go for that faster economy. Get those drones up.
That 1 base Baneling was actually, or well, it was 2 base technically, but it was pretty cool decision by I forget who exactly it was.
It was Fog versus Huck, wasn't it?
So Fog, I think it was Fog. You're right, but it is much more rare, and of course, it's a lot more dedication to just all in rather than try and macro out of this. Now, Harstem, he does see that this 3rd was taken at this location.
Yeah, 1Zell's not that big of a threat. It's an annoyance for sure, but not that big of a deal. Yeah. So backs on out of there.
6 slings, deal with it this time.
I'm loving this secret agent Queen over here, just sneaking around the defenses, disabling the power grid, you know?
And what was? Oh, it was totally spies. It's thinking of like the Charlie's Angels, like
yo,
cartoon.
Who's the blonde one, dude? I had such a crush on her. Oh my god.
But you the one that was in chat? I thought it was someone else who said that it was like his first crush. It's
No,
the
it wasn't my
blonde
first
chick,
crush. No,
Focus
first
5.
crush was Kimberly, man, from Power Rangers, the pink one.
Oh, yo, we're like soulmates. My first crush was the Green Ranger.
Nice. All right, well, actually, I think it's like one of the first things we had in common in a long time. But the similar for Harstem comes down. Again, he's got this nice little nook set up so the walls, mostly complete. And he's taking a third behind this with some pretty nice Sim Cities, so this should be well protected.
Indeed. He doesn't really have anything else that lets him see, scout. That's what we usually see. Of course, people open up with Phoenixes, and all it is, it does damage, but it gives you map control and scouting information. By just going for gateways right now, that Mothership Scout, that was the last scout that he had. He has no idea if, he gets a fourth, he gets a lot of roaches. He's just hoping that whatever he can throw at him, he'll be able to defend. Or Hallucinated Phoenix comes in at the right exact moment.
I actually kind of like that he hit his Roach Horn over at this base. I don't know what you would call it. I want to say the second, but it's like the third. This is the fourth, but I like that he hit the Roach Horn over there because, of course, if observers come by or if there's Phoenixes flying around, they're going to go to the main first and foremost. And let's not forget Harstem, a lot of his attention is going to be on this forward base. It's the most exposed. It's the one that is going to take the most damage from an attack easily, but sort of actually doing some work here on the other side of the map with these slow links. No real damage, but just the presence.
Speed's about. Still no fourth for Sortof, even though he has that nice, comfy fourth that would have been his natural. I mean, that's pretty much as safe as it gets.
This actually kind of sucks too for Sortof, because we've been seeing a lot more. Well, I don't know about you, but like when this guy's with Amateur and stuff, we're seeing a lot more Turk players start knocking down those rocks and taking this base over here as their fourth, rather than expanding all the way over to the left. So, I mean, by not having the natural base, the big thing is that it strips away the central hub. You don't get to focus everything around that one point. In fact, it's a little bit awkward for Sortof because what do? You have to focus on the forwardmost base, but that exposes what is potentially 2 or 3 behind it.
Yeah. Also, Sortof really doesn't have good scout, good minimap awareness on that side of the map. Now he's gonna take the Zelnaga and maybe he'll put a Ling at the would-be 5th or what would you would call it. But like if he had Twin on the rocks or had a War Prism back there, that was not gonna be scouted. The Overlords are not in position. Just find this pylon, which could have been used later on to kill those rocks, or scout if this was indeed the 4th taken. What was the infestation? Oh, okay, there it is.
For the swarm hosts.
I thought so, but Enduring Locust was late.
This is where Harstem's going to get a chance to shine, though, guys. Once again, he's going for Blink first. He's going to have some Immortals out. I mean, swarm hosts are hard to deal with. They really are. On King Sejong Station, though, if done correctly, through the middle of the map, you can really control a majority of the map, as weird as that is to consider. You normally get a map like Habitation Station, and you apply swarm hosts more to be about dealing damage to buildings, to actually killing the army and harassing with a locust, but the beauty of King Sejong Station is none of that's as important as long as you have map control.
With a really good creep spread as well, so Harstem doesn't have anything that's going to go out there and clear it up anytime soon. He has great map vision. Of course, taking his own knockers as well. Hallucinated Phoenix gets in here. He's going to see the Infestation Pit, probably figure out it is Swarm Host.
I like this attack to the north, but it's running into all the sentries, sadly. If Harstem was out of position, this would have been fantastic. But because he's not, it is quite awful.
Doesn't lose that many Lings. A little chunk of...
Well, I mean, the thing about Lings, though, is you need like a truck ton of them to deal with the Nexus Smooth Cannon there.
He scouts the Infestation Pit and he immediately gets a Warp Prism. Really great reaction. And of course, the Blink Stalkers. That's when we start seeing Blink Stalkers do work, as we saw White Raw did.
What I'm liking is the fact, and this can sound so weird, but the fact that there's been so little action, because there's been pretty much perfect reaction a lot of the time. It's been forced to take an awkward fight. No one's been forced into a bad engagement. Might change here as these roaches get a little bit dedicated, but wow, they leave the cannon alive with 3 HP. So merciful, sort of.
Very merciful. Sort of, or rather, Harstem not really doing a whole lot on the map yet. The Warp Prism did just pop out. He has, I guess, Hallucinated Phoenix is just making sure, I suppose, it is in fact Swarm Host, or checking out the defenses of the main base. And this is one problem about the main base, is that the creep was never spread, and the natural's not even there for creep. So if he has to defend a huge warp in, that hive may very well go down. There is nothing else really that you want to focus. I mean, maybe the imposition fit first, but then the hive with a bunch of zealots.
Well, the initial 4 spine cars should be okay. Oh gosh,
Until he's like,
who it was. I want to say Jim Rising or somebody. Like, so it was one of those weirder Zergs. They actually had this really cool SimCity in the main where they had the macro hatchery, right? But then they put 4 or 5 spine cars between it, so the Zealots couldn't get the surround on any of the spines.
I remember that. Yeah.
That was really cool to watch, actually.
I was thinking of like the mass zealot weapons, you know, like 10 plus, but that wouldn't happen until he has a 4th.
Yeah, if you tried to do it now, it'd be a way big too dedication of resources. But all right, so the Locust starting to poke out a little bit.
Harstem wanting to get this base is, it's what we usually see, honestly. I mean, even if Sortof did not get that base as, you know, he did, Harstem would want this one to get on, so. But it's just, you know, the creep is covering it. It's a little annoying. The 4th is a little late.
Sortof's also constantly been applying to the left side of the base, or pressure to the left side of Harstem when this is going on. Yeah, sorry, we haven't really focused on that. It's mostly the big army here in the middle of the map that looks so sexy, but again, there's a couple of spy cars here and there. This is not quite the static defense that keeps stalkers at bay, but the Locust should be okay for the time being. As long as Sortof doesn't get caught and he can unburrow and move, he'll be fine.
Yeah, okay. I was afraid he was going to try and go up there and then force out the low ground, but obviously that wouldn't work. He split up his Locust very nicely.
Got a nice little warp in here at the natural. Guts the drones. Of course, this was the newest taken base, so not the biggest deal for the time being.
Sortof really not the one who's banking up. Usually we see the Swarm Host players start to bank up a lot of money because, of course, they're using the free Locusts. But it's Harstem that has a little bit of a bank. And in fact, he decides not to take that 4th that we expected, but rather off to the side. And no, this is what I was talking about. There was like barely any vision. And he just walks up this ramp.
The Locust should be able to hold this initial wave. I like the Blinding Cloud, but the hatchery still falls, sadly, at the end of the day. Still trying to apply pressure with the Roaches on the other side of the map, though. This has been a non-stop struggle.
Look at the mini-map from Sortof, though. His 3rd is being attacked,
wow.
His 4th is being attacked, his natural, of course, went
He's
down.
about to lose 2 more hatcheries.
Whoa,
Harstem's just focusing the bases.
Base.
The Protoss Pulse! The Protoss Pulse! He snipes all the hatcheries!
That was really nice. Remember that game with Todd on this exact map against
Well, he did the
DHOpen?
hallucinations on the Warp Prisms.
Well, he had like 4 Warp Prisms and then like 2 hallucinations or something.
Yeah, no, that was really
It
cool.
sick.
Versus Golden, of course, but this Warpin, not going to get a lot done. The Fungal Growth going to hold this in place. But, I mean, at this point, the Warp Prism's already done its damage in a major way. Knocking down 3 hatcheries, not only does that kill the income, of course, but also the production, the larva. There's no macro hatchery to be found. Sortof is producing off of 1 hatchery right now, guys. He's not maxing out anytime soon. And not because of lack of minerals, but because he just doesn't have the larva.
I can't even catch this Warp Prism. I'm going to try and abduct it, I suppose, again.
The Roaches to the north are found out.
There's something there to stop him yet. He then started
Harstem, I gotta give it to him, man. Like, this is pretty cool. The amount of multitasking going on right now, quite frankly, you know, I made the joke when I made the Protoss Pulp, but really it's more like the Protoss MMA. Just like attacking like 9 locations at any given time, still harassing Warpins here towards the drone line, shreds them to bits. Now even have DTs coming into the mix, as if this wasn't bad enough as is.
Oh, there's that huge Warpin I was talking about. No Spore Crawler? I need to be more Citadel this year.
It's gonna be too late, I think. Transfuse is going off like crazy on the Spine Crawler, trying to keep them alive.
Oh man, a sword is being torn to pieces. Harstem is playing this like
A god?
well-tuned instrument, or that.
A literal god, guys. You heard it here first, not Grub said it. Yep, you did.
Oh, okay. My voice got really deep for a second, but that's fine.
It's a good Rifkin impression. Your Rifkin impression is better than my Yan impression.
Well, a lot of things are better than Count impression.
Wow! That is not true! You take that back.
Twilight is better than your current impression.
Wow, I'm so fucking glad you're leaving after this. Jesus. Congrats to Harstem to sort of interrupt you there. 2-0 in the end. Gets out of his group. Knocks Sortof out of the tournament. A little bit sad for Sortof, of course, but really, really nice for Harstem. And, alright, we gotta finish our best of 3 with our YOLO move.